This is literally just oil from the rinds that we did. And this is all just from this jar of just the zest peel. See, they're just zest peels. When we peeled the orange or the lemon or the orange lemon, we just peeled the orange off. So this we did day before yesterday, and so it's just been sitting, and the oil has been collecting at the bottom, and so this is the second time I've strained it off, and it is pure lemon oil, or the right citrus. I'm going to call it citrus because they're lemons that look like oranges. Okay, so these are the supposed lemons. When you peel these, it's a lemon inside. But they look like oranges. They're huge. They're, you know, like small softballs or large baseballs, whatever. Okay, so this one's about a baseball size. So most of them are quite large. And I'm going to show you how we peel this off, just getting the zest. So some of this will go into my dehydrator, and we will literally make zest. So once it's dry, then I'll put it in the blender. It'll be like a powder. So any recipes that require lemon zest or orange zest or citrus zest, this is what we would use. So we're just going to basically zest this without using a grater. Let me show you how that works. All right. So I take just a vegetable peeler here and then just lightly go over this. Just getting, or just trying to get just the orange part, leaving the white pith behind. You can see there's not any white beds. You see how oily that is. Is it showing it? How slick it looks, how watery it looks. See? That's the oil coming out. So we leave those just setting, and see on my fingers is the oil. And it smells like a cross between an orange and a lemon. And then this, that's where this is from. That's all that stuff coming off, and is just this oil. So once we finish this, we're going to cut that in half, and then I'll show you what we're doing. This right here is the citrus juice that we canned. So we can make lemonade out of this, you can make jelly out of it, however, whatever you need to use lemon juice for in recipes or canning. This right here is in alcohol, which is this moonshine I found at Specs, and it's 100 proof. So you just want to use this kind of stuff to make tinctures and medicines and that sort of thing. So basically what I'm doing is a tincture here. I'm extracting the oil using the alcohol. Now there's two ways that we can do this. After about 3 months of it sitting in this, and I might be even able to add more to it later or whatnot, pour these off and then put more in the alcohol itself and get it stronger and stronger. Put it in a bowl like this, and then just the liquid, and then put it in the freezer, and supposedly the oil from the orange rinds will freeze on the top where the moonshine or alcohol will not. Yeah. All right, so that's the one way of doing it. Other people say you can cook this off. You can cook the alcohol off of it to make sure that you don't have the alcohol and you just have the oil. So we'll experiment with that. There's a difference between essential oils and infused oils. A lot of people say that these are, you put these things in with another oil like grapeseed oil or olive oil or whatever, and you let that sit for months at a time, and then you have essential oil. That is incorrect. That is an infused oil. This, I'm trying to get the essential oil off of there, which is what we poured off earlier. Literally just dripped right off in from these rinds. So now on this right here we have vinegar. So we've used just regular distilled white vinegar, and you pour it on the peels, and you can notice that it's changing color, and you leave that steep for a couple of weeks or however long you need to, and you can use this as a cleaner. So instead of going to the store and buying the chemicals with the orange oil in it or whatever, that's what you have here. So you just take the vinegar, you strain it off however much you want. You add more vinegar to this, add more rinds to it, and you'll have a cleaner, a natural cleaner that you can actually use even on polished furniture. So, and kind of like Lemon Pledge or whatever. But I wouldn't recommend using a whole lot of it. You might want to dilute it a little bit, but it is an excellent cleaner and it takes out stains. So that's how we're doing that. So some of the rinds, I'm just having them sit so that we have this just pour off of it, which is pretty awesome. And that jar leaks from the lid. Those lids have to have those little rubber inserts if you don't want them to leak. But there's the oil just straight. It's really cool. Anyway, all right, so to make the juice, the only waste that we're going to have is the pith, which is the white stuff, and the, you know, now these came off of a organic tree. I mean, no pesticides or anything. It's just growing, and it's producing fruit. It's kind of like a wild, it's a lemon. Even though it looks like an orange, tastes like lemon. But you notice it has a lot of seeds, which means it's a young tree. This is like probably the first or second, maybe even third year that it's developing fruit. So this will get, the seeds each year will diminish. So we'll see how that tree progresses over the years, hopefully. So we're just going to juice these. And you need to have a little pot. You know, we have chickens and we have compost piles, so you need to have a little pot that's next to you to, you know, put your refuse in to throw out to that. So this is the only waste that we have. I'm sure there may be other uses for the pith, but I'm not positive on that. I'm going to use it for compost. And these seeds are fully healthy and viable. They're beautiful seeds. So if you want to start some rootstock, if you know anything about grafting your trees. So we do several of these, fill this up, then we're going to pour it into this right here to strain even the smaller seeds out that will fall through here. But we want to make sure that we don't have any of those seeds in there. And I don't mind if these seeds end up in my compost. If the trees start, then they're growing in the compost, which is awesome. You just dig them up, put them in a pot, and there you have it. So, and a lot of people are going more towards the wild fruits as God made it in the beginning. Seeds, you want seeds. If you know, you're supposed to eat seeds or have your fruit produce seeds. If it's not producing seeds, there's a problem. So anyway, that's how we got all of this with me and my daughter and my grandbaby. And we will be finishing the rest of these today. And I will come back to you after all of this is finished.